going to show you one of the most popular recipes I've made on Instagram. I think it's my most liked recipe and it's one of the easiest. It is my quickest ever spinach and chickpea curry, and it's a recipe from my new book, The Midlife Method. So I've got the ingredients assembled here. There's really not much to it at all. I've got a tin of chopped tomatoes ready to go there. I've got a 1 can of chickpeas that have been drained and rinsed. I'm going to use juice of half a lemon, which I'm going to squeeze in a second. I've got a red onion, 1 clove of garlic, a stock cube, some spinach, and then the spices, all importantly. Down here I've got some ground coriander, I've got some ground cumin, some chili flakes I'm going to use, but you could use hot chili powder or cayenne pepper, and some turmeric. So that's the ingredients. There's really not much to prep actually. I have rinsed the spinach and I've roughly chopped that. And the only other things you really need to prep are the onion, the garlic, and squeeze the lemon. So let's do that. And then once we've just done these few little mini prep tasks, we can move over to the whole. So garlic, how I like to do garlic, I don't really like to use a crusher because you just end up with a big blob of garlic and it doesn't then sort of diffuse into the dish. So I have one of these little Christmas cracker graters. I actually did get, well, the first ever one was from a Christmas cracker, this one I actually bought. And it's great for garlic and ginger because the graters, on the larger graters, it doesn't tend to be quite fine enough and it'd be quite hard to do something small on a large grater. So just keep going until you've got down to the little nub. I mean, you don't have to keep going until you grate your fingernails, just if you've got a little bit of a blob left, that's fine. Move that to the side, that's ready to go in the pan later. Get little bits and bobs of my fingers. And then with the onion, I'm going to show you my trick for cutting onions so that it's quick and you don't have to, you're not going to cry too much. The quicker the better with onions really. So I'm going to do sliced onions today. So what I've done is I've cut through the root and that's going to hold it all together. And if you have been following my recipes for a while, you'll know that I like this little onion trick. Because once I actually learned how to do it, it kind of transformed my time in the kitchen, because pretty much every dish I seem to make starts with onions and garlic. So if you can be speedy on the onion chopping, then that's much the better. So as you can see, I've got the root holding all together, I've taken off the skin, and now I'm just going to slice this finely, like so. And you can see it's not sliding all over the place. You know, if you sort of peel it and cut off the root, you end up sort of trying to wrestle with the onion as you're cutting it, which is not only difficult, you are at risk of chopping your fingers. So just bear with me while I finish this off. That's pretty much our prep done once we've done this. And the only other ingredients you're going to really need is a little bit of oil in the pan. Now, talking of oil, cooking oil, you really want to be using a neutral oil. My oil of choice for cooking is rapeseed oil. It's rated as one of the healthiest, other than olive oil, but olive oil isn't always good for cooking. You don't always want to use olive oil in a curry. It's not really native to the flavours, so I would steer away from olive oil for a curry. Okay, and that's it really. There's also a bit of water you're going to have to add a bit later on as well to let it all simmer. But the great thing about this curry is that it takes about 10 minutes to make, as I'll show you. And then you just let it simmer, and you can either eat it straight away, or even better, let it sit in the fridge overnight. If you make a huge batch, you can actually have it for a few days on the trot, and you've saved yourself quite a lot of work there. It actually tastes even better once all the flavours have melded together. It sort of improves with age. Right, that's the prep done, and now we're going to head to the stove and get cooking. So in the pan, it's on a sort of a medium heat, I suppose. I've put about a tablespoon of oil, and I've been sautéing the red onion and the garlic just very gently for about 5 minutes. And you can see that it's gone nice and soft, but it's not browning, so you don't want it to go over to actually being crispy. So That's just about right. And now the next thing to add are the spices. So pretty easy, equal quantities of, first one going in coriander. I've actually got round to labelling my spices now, so I know what I'm putting in. I used to actually have to sniff the bottle to find out what it was. But my daughter's made me nice labels now, so much easier. These are going in, and so that's a teaspoon each of the cumin, coriander and turmeric, and then half a teaspoon of the, whether it's chili powder, chili flakes or cayenne. Cayenne actually is even a bit hotter, so maybe go a quarter if you're using cayenne. But obviously you can do that bit to taste. If you like it fiery, crank up the chili. So that needs to all fry together. Just get those spices cooked so that they release their flavours. That's the idea behind that. That means about 30 seconds to a minute. And then once you can smell those spices coming out, then you just need to add, it's so simple, it's hardly a recipe. Tomatoes, chickpeas, just add a mix. It's a little bit high, I'm just going to turn that down if I can. No, I think that's the minimum, I have to stay like that, it's okay. But if you can turn it down a little bit, that would be a good idea. Juice of half a lemon. I'm going to crumble in the vegetable stock cube. Don't need to bother making up the stock, just crumble in the cube like that, and then 200 millilitres of water. You may need a little bit more water. This needs to simmer for about 20 minutes and then check it. If it's gone a little bit too dry, just add a little bit more water. I mean, it's a curry, so you know the consistency that you're looking for. And that's it. Actually, no, that's not it. Salt and pepper. Obviously, salt and pepper. Don't go too heavy on that to begin with, because there's a stock cube in there and it might end up being way too salty. Just a little bit of salt to start with, and you can always taste it and season it again later. So that's that, and we're just going to let that gently simmer, and all those flavours are going to mingle and evolve, and we'll check back in 20 minutes. After about 20 minutes, you can see there's still a little bit of juice there. You want a bit of sauce, and it's reduced down a little bit, and you can really smell all the spices coming out now. And there's only one job left to do. Just add your chopped spinach. I tend to put it in at the end, just so it doesn't reduce down to nothing. Just gives it a little bit more body, and it's a bit fresher if you just add it in at the end. And it just takes 1 to 2 minutes to wilt down. I did actually take the stalks off. I'm just using the leaves in here. Don't really want a big mouthful of stalk, really. I find that works better. And then let that wilt down. Some liquid will come out of the spinach, so make sure you just let that wilt all the way down before you check for consistency. And then you can always add a little bit more water if you feel it's too dry. The other thing to do is, at this stage, just taste it and see. Don't burn your mouth. That's fine. Doesn't need any more salt or pepper. That's good to go. The other thing I would just say, and this is completely optional, but what I really love to do when I serve it is just swirl in some natural yogurt, and that just takes away some of the acidity and adds a bit of a creamy tang, which is perfect with this. And that's it. That's my quickest ever spinach and chickpea curry. Today, then you can see more of the same in my new book, The Midlife Method, How to Lose Weight and Feel Great After 40, and that's published on the 31st of December 2020 by Headline Home, and that is available on Amazon, Book Depository, wherever you get your books.